So the principles are few, and those do include like the commonalities, and it's such an imperfect science, but it's a great, again, active playground. And another thing that Brian McKenzie really taught me and he teaches is N equals 1. So the number of subjects in the study equals 1. You are the one subject in your own case study of yourself. So treat yourself as a subject, and do some like experiments with your breath, because you and I can do the same breath cadence and the same breath pattern and do like the same amount of holding our breath, and you get like kind of like lightheaded and parasympathetic, you downregulate, and you're like, okay, this feels nice. Like I just took like a hit. I can do the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh, I feel like in my body, I feel like activated. I feel like I want to move a little bit. And so, um, although principles are few, principles definitely vary amongst individuals. But the principles that seem to have some commonalities is you amplify your breath cadence and you up-regulate your nervous system. You activate sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic, fight or flight, parasympathetic, calm, rest, digest. And so it makes sense that if you breathe fast, your body registers your fast breathing as maybe a danger or an awareness that your body needs to start to kick into gear because you must be starting to exercise or something. So you breathe fast and your heart rate will increase. And if your heart rate increases, then your blood vessels may need to vasodilate a little bit. You might need to circulate more blood flow. So there's a direct correlation between your heart and your lungs, and it makes sense that your lungs are like hugging your heart. They work hand in hand. They like love each other. So when I'm breathing, I'm often thinking about like breathing into my heart, breathing in space for my heart. And so there's this cool like psycho-emotional component to it. And then on the physical biomechanical component, you exhale. When you tighten your body, you're actually like giving a compression to your heart vessel. And then you open, you inhale, and you're giving some space to that heart vessel. And so involuntarily, when you breathe, your heart and your breath are working together. Voluntarily, you can breathe to kind of give your heart a little bit of extra juice, a little extra pump. And that would make sense. Like I like to do some faster breathing prior to working out to like get my body ready to get some extra blood flow so that my muscles can be oxygenated and really reap the benefit of a movement practice. You don't have to do breath work before moving. You can just start moving, and guess what? Your breath will start to naturally increase. So there's that correlation. So breathwork's basically like exercise without the exercise. You're just breathing as if you're exercising. So that's one way to look at it. But then on the other side, so upregulation through active breathing, and then down regulating through slow breathing. That can either be by doing a box breath, which is controlling your breath. So one principle would be like breath control. In, out, breath control. I'll get into that. I'll finish parasympathetic, then I'll get into breath control. So parasympathetic, you're slowing down your breath, you're slowing down your heart rate, and then everything kind of gets calm. And that makes sense. Now, for some, you slow down your breath and your anxiety goes up, because if you slow down everything, you start to feel more in your body. And if you don't like what you're feeling, you might want to escape. No wonder you breathe fast all the time, because that's a good distractor away from like pain or hurt in the body. So often slow breathing doesn't feel good for people who might have a little bit of a higher anxiety blueprint. And so that's why I like to use a combination of both. And that's why I kind of like Wim Hof, or a variety of Wim Hof, which would be like, for me to calm down, my body doesn't like to go from here to calm. My body likes stimulation. So I trick myself into calm by So I breathe fast to team up with my body. My body's like, okay, fuck yeah, we're doing some movement. And then I slow it down, and then everything's like going nice and slow. So that's how I personally like to create calm and parasympathetic mode. My body needs a little bit of stimulation first. So there's this awareness of what's happening, and then I can kind of regain control and slow it down. So those are two big principles, and probably the most like rudimentary, basic, important principles is the pacing and depth of your breath. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is how you can, or we can, any human listening can take control of the sympathetic nervous system, where instead of being a victim to this system, we actually have some ability to be able to titrate and modulate the nervous system and the way that it feels by learning some of these breathwork modalities and playing in the playground of breath as you've described.